My wife is choosing her friend's bachelorette party over our first anniversary, and now I'm considering ending our own marriage. The woman my wife is missing our anniversary hates me because I drove a wedge in their friendship since my wife obviously spends a large chunk of her time with me. I also see through her bullying bullshit and do not have patience for her. Anytime my wife tries to include this friend in our plans, the friend whines about nearly everything. Yesterday she was car sick when we had to drive an hour and a half to and from the place we went as she sat in the back. She tried to solve the problem by eating potato chips and 2 cans of soda, only to keep complaining she felt sick. She was clearly hinting I should have been the one sitting in the back, but I'm recovering from an injury and the extra room in the passenger seat is helpful. She made very obnoxious digs into my home country and background to the point where I almost took the train home leaving my wife with her friends. Living in a new country has already been exhausting. Having to hear things like that from my wife's friend wasn't pleasant. My wife didn't stand up for me against the friend, which hurt my feelings. We spoke at length last night and today about it, agreeing I would never go out with this friend again. My wife also said it was only a matter of time before the friendship ended because she couldn't deal with the negativity and self-centered attitude anymore. On to the problem. April 17th is our first anniversary. My wife is the maid of honor at her wedding and got to choose when the bachelorette party is. She chose the week of our first anniversary, meaning we would be flying home from my home country to a very private getaway. I had planned on our anniversary and my wife would leave me that night to go to this bachelorette weekend. I'm upset because my wife knew when our anniversary was. She knows this friend doesn't like me at all, and the friend has made digs and comments about my wife getting married before her. I understand my wife is between a rock and a hard place, but I'm tired of having to be understanding at the expense of my feelings over the friend. Edit. I just had a very long discussion with my wife and explained my feelings. She is ending the friendship with the woman after the other woman in the car's birthday party in a week so there isn't a fallout. She said her own anxiety about the situation was clouding her judgment and making me feel how I did wasn't what she wanted at all. I'm an action speaks louder than words sort of person, so we'll see what happens, but she was heartbroken and worried I was going to start the conversation with a divorce. Update. There were many discussions and disagreements leading up to her ending the friendship. Things would grate at me that my wife was still going along with the friendship for the sake of her other friend in their friendship triangle's birthday party. Every day it was like I was more annoyed because she still hadn't even defended me to the friend and it was showing she cared less about me and how I felt in her country when she knew how much I missed mine. She knew she needed to end it anyway and said losing our relationship wasn't an option. After a bit of prying, it was clear how psychotic she thinks her friend is. My wife believes her friend will key her car, show up at the house and cause problems, drag all the other friends involved into it. It all came to a head when I told her I was not returning to her country for mine. We're back in mine for a Christmas thing with my family, if the friendship was still intact. She ended the friendship 2 days later after the friend called me racist towards the very large white, 85% plus, majority of her country. I am white. As expected, the friend has started to go off the rails. So far it's been excessive phone calls and texts. The friend tried to text me and apologize for her comments to salvage anything with my wife, but I had changed my number a week prior. The apology was something along the lines of sorry if what I said hurt your feelings, but your words hurt mine. What I said had just pointed out my frustration with lived experiences in the new country every day. Friendship is over. Wife is worried ex-friend will key her car. She is genuinely fearful of this ex-friend. We will be installing another camera as soon as we get home that only points to her car. I doubt this is the last update, and we actually booked a vacation for our first year anniversary. Update 2. My wife had an exchange of bachelorette party information with the new maid of honor at a cafe. The new maid of honor and her are old friends. She knew exactly why my wife was doing what she did in ending the friendship. The ex-friend requested the maid of honor that she wanted my wife to delete all pictures and videos of her from her phone. It was a bit of a head scratcher with how paranoid the ex-friend is because my wife would never even think to do anything negatively with them. It makes me think what the ex-friend does to all my wife's images and videos from over the years if she's thinking my wife would ever do anything with hers. It just seems like another odd bit of controlling behavior. The only real annoyance other than that is I've had to spend out of pocket $500 for my wife's dress, makeup, and hair, which was paid for already. The dress was $40. She hadn't had hair and makeup done and someone had already filled her slot as the missing bridesmaid. My wife spent $400 on the hotel room we won't get to use for the wedding days. Nearly $1,000 out of pocket. Worth it though. The biggest upside has been my wife is much more relaxed over the last month. She doesn't get sucked into drama via text when looking at her phone now. She isn't on Snapchat having to hear the ex-friend talk horribly about her friends, her fiancé, etc. so the messages disappear. I have always said to her the way she talks about all those others to you, she is talking right back to them the same way about you. We've been enjoying the last month of peace and quiet, and hope it stays that way. Update 3. My wife hasn't heard from the ex-friend at all. I did actually run into her leaving an event while my wife waited in the car. She definitely recognized me and when I told my wife as soon as I got back to the car, she joked that the ex-friend would be thinking about the run for the entire weekend and it would drive her crazy. We had an awesome anniversary away together and went away a few more times up until this point this year and have a few more plans before January. The ex-friend got married but other than that, we have no clue what's happening in her life. My wife's been a lot less stressed in her day-to-day not having to deal with the constant emotional baggage of the ex-friend. She's put our relationship first in every other instance since the initial hiccup.